Welcome to a brand new episode of Democratic Newsroom. I'm Shiv Aroor. Before we get into our big topic, you've obviously, viewer, guessed what the topic is. It's the election that's just gone by, the big one in Haryana, the one that caught everyone off guard. Everyone was surprised by it, including the party that won, the BJP. But the party that's licking its wounds in total disbelief at this point of time is the Congress party. After a big upset in Haryana, an election that it was completely and supremely confident of winning, the troubleshooting, the damage control and the finger pointing has begun within the grand old party. The Congress High Command has been holding key meetings in Haryana to introspect on the party's dismal, shocking performance in this assembly election. Its third election on a trot in Haryana that it has humiliatingly lost. A blame game has erupted within the Haryana Congress. Veteran party leaders are pointing to the leadership and the organization, and there is a growing rift within the party leadership itself about who is responsible. They're also demanding a reshuffle to ensure such a debacle doesn't happen again. The only problem is the Congress party doesn't have very long before it can reconsolidate, regroup, recuperate and get battle ready again for another election that is just a few painful weeks away. Obviously, you know, I'm talking about Maharashtra. Meanwhile, the Congress has formed a fact-finding committee for the post-mortem of the Haryana poll performance. Sources tell India Today that Rahul Gandhi was critical of the Haryana Congress, reprimanding the Congress infighting. Obviously, he's talking about the feud, the very, very open feud between Bhupinder Singh Hooda and Kumari Selja. Rahul Gandhi has blamed the mindset of the leaders and said that the Congress Neta's personal interest took over the interests of the party and its battle readiness to actually defeat the BJP in an election that I once again repeat, most people, if not everyone, including the BJP, thought was on a platter for the Congress party. So this evening on the Democratic Newsroom, I'm joined by my colleagues here in India's only Democratic Newsroom, Rajdeep Sardesai, who's travelled in Haryana. My political reporter friends, Nabila Jamal and Akshita Nandagopal are also here on the Democratic Newsroom. Siddharth Zarabi is going to be jumping in as well from Business Today, and he's been looking very closely at these elections as well. So let's jump right into it. Rajdeep, the question we've been asking, you know, as we usually do on Democratic Newsroom, are simple ones. And over the last few days, I know you've, had more than your share of having to opine on where things went wrong as far as the Congress was concerned. But now the Congress is in a huddle, Rajdeep. Today is day 2 of them, having a meeting over who to blame, etc. Who would you blame? Who would you blame for this? Let's start with the Congress first. We'll go to exit pollsters, etc. later.
I'm going to reverse that for a moment because I thought of putting some egg yolk here. I'm just putting it on my face. All the egg on my face that I need, having predicted a easy Congress win in Haryana. I don't know if you can see it, but that's what I'm doing. Because look, and the irony is there's not a single pollster, pundit, reporter, not one. I go across, I'm in touch with a lot of the regional dailies and their reporters in Haryana. No one predicted a BJP victory. Ask the BJP leaders in private. Even 24 hours before, and they say, yaar, embarrassing defeat nahi chahiye. These were the words used by a senior BJP leader.
Dignified defeat.
Dignified defeat. To answer your question, I think what happened, and it's very easy, therefore, to target pollsters and pundits. I was with a colleague from Lallan Top, our Hindi news website, and we went through the numbers. 22,957 votes across 9 constituencies could have changed who won the election.
Yeah.
That's how close it was. When you actually look at the numbers, you break down the numbers, it's extremely close. So all the analysis that you'll do could have easily turned around. Having said that, I think this was an election in a one line, Mahal versus management. It's not my word, my colleague from Lallan Top, Abhinav Pandey, used it beautiful. Mahal was with the Congress. There was anti-incumbency. That's why reporters reported that. That's why pollsters also sensed it. But the management of micro-level electioneering was done remarkably well by the BJP. So while we can blame the Congress and they can do all the introspection that they want, the truth of the matter is, and particularly Shiv in the Jat heartland, ensuring multipolar contest. So the Jat vote got divided. CSDS post-poll survey, only 53% Jats voted for the Congress. The Congress thought it would be 70-75%. Dalit vote got split in different parts, while the BJP focused on the urban heartland and areas around the Ahirwal belt from Gurugram onwards and the GT Karnal road. So they were able to retain some of that, especially in the Ahirwal belt, and ensure division in where the Congress expected to win. So it was the ground game. That's what elections, particularly in small states, are won. One thing I've decided, small state election, I am not going to ever predict again. Chhattisgarh.
No, but Rajdeep, I take your point. I have to say something. I have to say something in defense of Rajdeep Sardesai right now. You've talked about egg on your face. It's a very brave thing that you've done. No. But the fact is, the fact is, you have day after day been talking about what has happened in Haryana, and I think that is a very creditable thing. So you're talking about what happened before, you're talking about what happened after. One second.
Sometimes I fear I am introspecting more than the Congress is.
But
you definitely are.
Rajdeep, since you speak about egg, I thought you would say jalebi, because that is, just a
I would eat.
Quick interjection. I think just to add to what Rajdeep said, he gave us a very granular point of view. What is the message in the recent past? Overconfidence does not win you elections.
Very good point.
The result of June 4th, 400 par nahi hua, mushkil se par hua to some extent. If you go back to Madhya Pradesh, if you go to Rajasthan, if you look at Chhattisgarh, overconfidence and the Indian electorate now have an increasing distance. And I will add, you guys are, Rajdeep, you have covered politics all your life. I think more than anti-incumbency, in this social media generation and post-social media generation, overconfidence is an absolute killer.
So those two words of overconfidence and mahal, Rajdeep, if I could take this up to you, right after the elections, the general elections, and I remember in our Democratic Newsroom, Rajdeep had said that all pundits or all exit pollsters had gotten carried away with the 400 par slogan then. Yes. So now too, do you think it was overconfidence and the mahal created by Congress that everyone fell for? Was that the problem?
Look at one thing. I mean, again, as I said, I'm introspecting more than the Congress party should be. The Congress party vote has actually gone up by 11%. Yeah. That's staggering. That's a huge amount. 29% is almost 40%. Now, as a reporter, I'm going to pick that up, right? Also, the Jats are often more vocal. So they'll come to your camera.
But there was anti-Jat consolidation as well.
No, you see, but even this anti-Jat consolidation is simplification. The Jat itself, if only 53% Jats eventually voted, what happened? If there were 10, 12 Jats in a constituency, each brought in by 1,000, 2,000 votes. That's why a local election is becoming more and more difficult. You talk about Maharashtra. Suppose I don't get a ticket from one of the major alliances. I contest an independent, I take 3,000 votes. Now, 3,000 votes may not be a lot. It may be my neighborhood, but it's enough to change elections. So my point to you is that it is becoming more and more for a reporter also. How do I don't know.
So should we not stick our neck out then?
Certainly not. I think pollsters, it's time for exit pollsters to exit if they want to convert vote share into seats. Vote share into seats.
Sorry, in our defense...
Poll panditry is a dangerous profession.
Poll
panditry is a dangerous profession.
Siddharth Rabi, I don't think we should stop doing our job, and I think Rajdeep
Sardesai
is in the studio.
Not do panditry. Not do panditry.
No, well, it's out of experience. I can't do panditry. I still have to do. I have a long way to go to learn Haryana. But Rajdeep sir can. You can, Rajdeep.
No, why?
My only thing is, hasn't the Congress really learnt, like you mentioned, from Madhya Pradesh's debacle, Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan? After Karnataka's massive victory,
Nabila,
they were so big in Karnataka, they were so high on that victory,
they didn't learn it in Jammu. They didn't learn it in Jammu. The story of Jammu and Kashmir. And just quickly, look at that flip about cutting the vote by having multiple candidates. Yeah. That was the BJP strategy in the valley. And that backfired very clearly.
Rajdeep is a consummate political reporter. No matter what I ask him, he's going to go down to the ground, talk to the numbers, talk about the cars, talk about this, talk about that. I want to talk about what's happening right now in those meetings, Rajdeep. I really want to know. No, are you saying in that case that with the margins so small that you can't really blame the Congress? You can't really, because sorry to sound maybe a little cruel, but even this overconfidence thing, you're talking about people who are consummate professionals. Bhupinder Singh Hooda, very, very grounded people. How could they not see what was going on?
Look, you know, I don't want to overanalyze an election which I said was actually, when you go down to granular numbers, so close. But every politician also gets sort of caught up by the mahal, however experienced you are. I mean, a consummate politician like Narendra Modi ji got caught up in the mahal a bit in the Lok Sabha elections, and a consummate politician like Bhupinder Singh Hooda got caught up. You know, there are those congressmen who will say, we would not even have got 39% but for Hooda. Hooda hamara jat face tha. So you see, for every answer there can be a counter answer. I think what the end of the day is, politics as it gets hyper-localized in these state elections needs micromanagement and people on the ground. Congress does not have block-level committees across Haryana.
Yeah.
Now, how do you fight? Karnataka, they are organizationally strong.
Yeah,
Maharashtra, relatively better.
But despite the organization, Lok Sabha, they didn't do well. They had a great stint with
you see, Lok
the
Sabha was,
assembly, but Lok Sabha, they failed.
But Lok Sabha also, let's be, you see, when we use word like failed, had Janata Dal's S not tied up with the BJP, 5 seats which went to the JDS, BJP combined might well have gone to the Congress. Margins,
Okay, to that effect, what I mean here is Congress could have easily allied even in Haryana in that case. Why didn't they look for alliances? Why did they not seal a deal with Aam Aadmi Party, not seal a deal with SP? SP wanted to fight Southern Haryana. Why did they not encourage them? There could have at least 2-3% vote share could have come to them.
Nabila, there is an old saying, success has many fathers, failure is an orphan. We can now say suddenly Aam Aadmi Party kyun kiya, Samajwadi. The real reason is your own. You see, Congress itself, let's be honest, is a strong party in Haryana as the BJP has become.
Not what they were in 2004 and 9.
No.
That glory has gone.
No,
they should admit it.
Ma'am, as I said, on the ground in a hyper-localized election, your challenge is to manage the last mile connectivity. You have to have feet on the ground. The RSS got involved, had feet on the ground, gave feedback. You asked Shiv what's going on in the meeting. In the meeting, ironically, the very people who are, some of whom are responsible for this debacle are judging their own defeat. I mean, how can they decide, for example, the surveys? You know, Sunil Kanagulu after Karnataka was the new whiz kid. After Telangana, new whiz kid. What happens in Haryana? It's like pollsters. All of us have to come to ground. Ye zameen hai na, ye sabke liye hai.
Rahul Gandhi is blaming the cadre, saying that you people are keeping yourself above
the local leaders.
No, one minute.
No, he should have blamed the factions.
Rahul Gandhi went and campaigned in Haryana only in the last week.
But he was in the United States. He should have been there more available and on the ground.
Now, Rahul Gandhi, you said Aam Aadmi Party. It's ironic. He has a Central Election Committee meeting. Rahul Gandhi at that Central Election Committee recommends an alliance and then leaves for America. Now the guys who are at the ground have their own equation that they are striking, say, no, we don't want an alliance. We will do it our own way. Of course, overconfidence. You're right. Hubris. That we don't need anyone. Hum jante hain. There are even reports now of the way in which the tickets were decided. Now, based on the surveys. You see, these surveys also, eventually, you see, part of the problem is, politics is so competitive. If I don't get a ticket, I will contest as a rebel. It's a problem now across the country. Because earlier, you know, you could placate, muh mein thoda peda dal diya, jalebi dal di, nahi, mat contest karo, please sit down. When you're in government, you can do it easily. BJP also had a lot of rebels, but BJP has resources to placate the rebels because you're in power. The Congress was not able to placate rebels. Some rebels were deliberately put up to undercut your rival. ये जो theory है ना, Congress में इसको निपटाएंगे, that niptana.
No, so let's come up with a scenario here. If a Hooda wasn't as powerful as he was in the run-up to this election, if a Kumari Shelja was accommodated, if everyone essentially had their say, do you think it would be a very different election?
100%. Politics is a guldasta. एक फूल नहीं चलता.
Has to be a
unless you are such a big leader.
But it works. Of course it does.
It works in some states. So Narendra Modi in Gujarat became larger than life and it worked. But उसने भी कई लोगों को निपटाया था वहां आने के लिए. But he could do it because he had struck a bond. Not everyone can do that. Bhupinder Hooda had limitations. If he had even, you see, they decided Congress typically because of overconfidence, who will be chief minister. And first win the election. Then but you can decide.
Shiv, look at the BJP campaigning in Haryana. Tell me whether you saw any other recent campaign where the Prime Minister's photograph was one amongst many and was not the biggest and the center one.
It was a sober campaign.
So look at the change in BJP tactics They learnt lessons between June 4 and now.
Brilliant
and
point.
that is why the BJP is back in this manner.
You know,
So it
he's
seems
absolutely
like the-
right, Shiv. BJP course corrected. One reason, very good example. You see, Agniveer, farmers' agitation, Mr. Modi had become almost the center of anger in Haryana.
Yes.
The BJP recognized that. The Prime Minister didn't campaign as aggressively. It requires you to bring down your ego. He did that and became one of many, a collective leadership. The Congress, on the other hand, thought, you know, Haryana is a done deal, 10 years of anti-incumbency. Pollsters are saying it, pundits are saying it, surveyors.
Tailwind of Lok Sabha.
You know, the tailwind of Lok Sabha. We don't even need Rahul Gandhi to come along. Aap baith jaiye, aapko America jana hai. We'll handle everything. Now, in a local election, Samvidhan khatre mein hai, doesn't work as much as what do I get from my panchayat or my local leader. Politics is so different and hyper-localized. You know, it's become a science.
Sir, you're saying hyper-localized, but I believe that the Congress did not actually focus on local issues. They were hammering on Agniveer, hammering on the farmers' issue. Imagine this is a state where the farmers' agitation was born. That was the kind of anger they had against the centre, but yet went for the BJP. The BJP infused policies, freebies, did everything that they could last minute.
You know, again, as
it's
I
not
said,
as if these
again,
strategies have not...
ma'am,
they're
again,
not
as I-
Nabila,
No,
the
no.
farmers' issue really is over. Look at this monsoon. You know, it changes. Just as our seasons change, the reality on the ground for the farmers also changes. It's not perennially one way. And that's why I don't think farmers could have been an issue. If it was the reverse, it couldn't have been an issue. Agniveer, what is the total percentage of recruitment that was happening in Haryana prior to Agniveer? So it was not a statewide issue.
One final question. We've just got like 2-3 minutes left, but I need to ask this because you know, anyone who thought that there was going to be election coverage breather, Rajdeep, you know, you have a few painful weeks and then we're going to be diving. In fact, today on my show, we blew the bugle for our Maharashtra coverage also starting. It's Rajdeep's home state as well. I'm not going to ask about momentum and all that. Momentum is a foregone
You
conclusion.
should ask directly, Shiv. What's your prediction, Raj?
क्या हवा चल रही है? हवा कहाँ चल रही है?
Now, again, you'll make me... No, look,
Jalebi on Mysore Park.
the good news in...
Has it reset things? Because just before Haryana election, there was a different kind of dynamic and perception as far as Maharashtra is concerned. Has it reset it or is it more complicated than that?
Look, Shiv, every state is distinct to the other.
Rajdeep, is the BJP back to add to Shiv's question?
No, look. As I said, in my view, every state is distinct to the other, but, and it's a big but, momentum, perception, and enthusiasm. All of that at the moment after Haryana will be with the BJP. No doubt about it. I mean, you know, it's only 5 weeks gap. When you've won an election that you were expected to lose, and when you lose an election that you're expected to win, it's like a cricket match. You know, you're in the midst of a World Cup and you've got one game after the other. We keep speaking of momentum in sport. You have to speak about it in politics. The BJP will go into Maharashtra now and Jharkhand. Don't forget Jharkhand.
On the front foot.
You know, on the front foot, the Congress on the back foot. But, you know, my home state is actually 5 states in one. It's not 90 seats, it's 288. It's got 5 regions: North Maharashtra, Western Maharashtra, Vidarbha, Marathwada, Mumbai, Konkan.
Amazing state.
Each with its distinct identity.
True.
And then you've got the BJP using state power. Look at the amount of goodies that they are throwing at the voter. The election commission hasn't announced the election. They're throwing those goodies. Ladki Bahin, which is 1,500 rupees for every woman, could become, and 2.1 crore have benefited, could be a game changer. But you know, having said all that, I just think sometimes the voter doesn't want you to take him or her for granted. So I'm not going to, this time I'm not, if you ask me 100 times, kaun jeetega Maharashtra, I will say, mujhe nahi pata.
Final comments from Nabila and
Enjoy
Akshita.
your misal pav. I know how much you enjoy your misal pav. So we'll sit back, have some misal pav, and then figure out who will win.
No, Akshita, the best thing is, I have decided, the show now, elections on my plate, should be only about the food.
But it should not.
With a lot of jalebi.
Just
But
food
no,
on my plate.
but no,
Just food on my plate.
but no Srikhand, because Srikhand I've already declared as mediocre in public, so we cannot have any Srikhand on
And the
it.
other problem with Srikhand is the Gujaratis also claim
They also claim
ownership.
it.
And at the moment, one of the issues in Maharashtra is Maharashtra versus Gujarat. So I can't be seen having too much of Srikhand.
Last comment from Nabila.
Basically, what I have to say is that the Congress, from what I see here, has the overconfidence word has been overused, I think, here. It's understood that that was a problem. But they hung on to the Jat so much that they ignored all the other castes and sections. And the BJP, as much as it talks about Hindus, Hindu rights, they really managed to consolidate the Hindus. Apart from the Jats, I see all the other communities they've managed to consolidate, including the Dalits. And I think the Dalits had the grouse because of Sailja.
In terms of...
Again, we are making... Ma'am,
Okay,
50% Dalits as per the...
It's not as simple, but it's a fact, and even you know it.
No,
that
they tried.
Let me end with one final question.
Apart from the Jats.
They
did not bother about the Jats. They consolidated everything else. I see the same thing happening in Maharashtra. Even now, before Maharashtra election, Shinde is now giving more salary to madrasa teachers.
Okay.
Where would you have imagined this would happen from the BJP government, right?
Rajiv sir, 20-second answer because I have to wrap. Is Maharashtra more complicated caste and community-wise than Haryana?
It's just a larger state, and the larger the state you are with such distinct sub-regions within, it is more complicated. Just to leave you with a thought on Maharashtra, since 1985, no government, no party has got an absolute, no single party has got an absolute majority in Maharashtra. So it's a state of alliances, seat sharing will matter, keeping your ego aside, working with people, building a guldasta of a collective leadership. All of that, according to me, will matter in a state like Maharashtra. What else do I say about my home state? We are very transactional, you know, in Maharashtra, I must confess, like many voters, we have lost faith. There are 1/3 of Maharashtra politicians, Shiv, who've been MLAs in the last 10 years, who've been in more than one party.
Yeah.
You know, just think about it. We're almost as bad as Karnataka. You know, when it comes to your home state,
Anyway,
when it comes to switching sides.
We're completely out of time. Akshita, Nabila, Siddharth and Rajdeep, thank you very much. Many more Democratic newsrooms on the road to this election. Election a la re, as they say, in Maharashtra. And we here, India's #1 political team, will be bringing that to you every single hour over the next few weeks. Remember, the dates for the Maharashtra elections are likely to be announced as well this week. Thanks so much for watching.